Hi, this is Mike from Henderson County now. It is Wednesday, April 29th. This is News Clipped, and I am sitting with new Athens City Administrator Philip Rodriguez. How are you doing, Philip?
I'm doing fantastic today, Michael. In fact, it's a gorgeous day outside, and
It is beautiful, isn't it?
Couldn't be more happy to be here in Athens, Texas.
Okay, so you've only been here like about a month.
Yeah, just shy of a month. I think tomorrow will actually be
tomorrow will be a
my
month.
1 month anniversary. Yep.
So welcome to Athens. Now, first thing before we get into, we got a couple of things we want to talk about. I know people want to hear about the water rates. That's pretty big,
Sure.
and you got a really big meeting, a kind of a cool meeting that you're doing tomorrow. But before we get started, why don't you tell the people something about yourself, a little bit about yourself?
Well, thank you so much for the welcome, and like you just stated, there's a lot going on, and I look forward to digging into that with you. But yeah, I come to Athens via several cities here in Texas. I actually started out at the city of San Antonio at the city manager's office there, just post graduate studies at the University of Kansas, where I studied public administration, and I got my master's degree there. And have worked for cities across the state. In fact, been in the San Antonio, Austin, and DFW areas, and most recently served at the city of Southlake, which a lot of folks are familiar with. It's kind of a big retail destination and a very upscale community right there next to the airport at the DFW airport. So I'm excited to be here because I feel like there are a number of opportunities that we're going to be able to really pursue, but it's also a place that I can, bring my family to and raise my two daughters. And my wife has, of course, spent some time here. A lot of folks have gotten to meet her already too. And, as a family, we're very excited. This is a very livable community, and we certainly look forward to making this our home for many years to come.
Yeah, there was a meet and greet over at the Partnership Center. Your wife and your children, your two daughters were there. And you have a beautiful family.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, they're my.
If I knew you a little better, I'd say you married up.
Oh, I absolutely will attest to that, and I take no shame in that at all. In fact, my wife is truly my better half, and my girls have done nothing but make me proud as well. So we're very excited to come in here and be part of the Athens community, and I think it's just going to be a great experience for us, and we look forward to really investing our lives in a place like Athens.
Well, that's great. You get to town, you come in, and the first thing that hits you is you get to be the one who guides through water rate increases.
Absolutely.
Now, these everything started before you got here.
Sure.
I want to put that out front.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. But you did get here, and now the water rates they go into effect September 1st.
Mm-hmm, correct.
But they were finalized Monday night at the city council meeting.
Yes.
The way I understand it, the average water bill will go up about $20.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Can you talk to us a little bit about why some of this was necessary?
Yeah, and I appreciate the sort of the clarifier there that this has been an issue for the community for quite some time, and I think unfortunately, like with a lot of anything that's been deferred over time, the problem doesn't get better with time, and certainly doesn't get easier with time. And so, over the last year or so, the city has really had to take a good close look at its utility rates and what services it's able to provide with those rates. And so really the increase across the board reflects a couple different things. One is that the cost of service has exceeded what those revenues coming in are. And so what's happening is that we're just simply not able to keep the services at the intended level and the desired level for our citizens with our current rate structure.
Now there was actually a rate study done, and a company from outside came in and did a rate study. They said that the amount of money being brought in was not enough to provide the service.
That's correct. In fact, I believe that was called NextGen out of Austin, and of course they do consulting services for cities across the state, and look at these. They really give a third party view of how the system is functioning and what it costs, and unfortunately the cost of service had outpaced what we were bringing in. The other issue though, and I've actually been able to sit down with citizens who, when they turn on their faucet right now, they've got a rust color water, and of course there's there's really, nothing unsafe about that per se from a health standpoint. However, if folks are trying to wash dishes or wash their clothes or those kinds of things, and the water's coming out looking rusty, that's not something that most folks are going to want to have over time. So the other big part of these rate increases is going to be us now addressing old cast iron pipe across the city, and hopefully get that dealt with so that for the next 50 to 100 years we don't have maintenance issues on that side of it as well. And I think there's going to be a lot of people that are impacted by that in a positive way. So I think there's some net positives for us out of these rate increases, but it is something that everyone's going to be concerned with initially.
And this goes back to, I think, October, November maybe, that this rate study was first put into effect, or they started doing that, right?
I believe so, yeah. And there's been a lot of conversations internally in the city to make sure that we really do have a handle on what that cost of service is, so that we don't overcharge for that. That's not the goal or the intent here at all. But hopefully folks will understand that in the long run. We just want to make sure we can provide a service to our citizens that they can be happy with, and that they can make sure we can pass on to the next generation as well.
Well, you said something that interested me, and that was the fact that when you let some of this stuff go for so long, it gets worse. Sure. Obviously, there's that whole thing we all remember: you can pay me now or you can pay me later.
Right.
And I think that the water might have something like a little bit of that going on, which makes me think about your meeting tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Because you have an interesting thing. The city council is going to sit down, and you don't have an agenda like normal where we're going to do business. You have basically one thing on here. It says, regarding City of Athens vision, mission, strategic plan, goals, operations, planning, and core business services. Now, could you kind of explain that for us?
I'd be happy to. I know that's quite a mouthful. We just want to make sure we cover all our bases. You're probably familiar with an old baseball player, Yogi Berra.
Oh, yeah.
He said many years ago that if you don't know where you're going, you'll wind up someplace else. And this meeting is really with that in mind, is for us to have a plan of where we're going so that we can ensure we get there. Oftentimes, cities spend a tremendous amount of money and effort and energy trying to just chase down that next project, or sort of figure out, what we can do today to make sure we're serving our citizens. But I want to help the council be able to articulate their long-term vision for this city. And that's really what this meeting tomorrow is all about, is give them an opportunity to speak to me and to staff about where they want us to head. And then we, in turn, as staff, begin to really implement those plans. And so over the months ahead, you're going to see various items come forward before the city council that hopefully will originate out of tomorrow's meeting.
Yeah, you have that thing where I think that you can get into a situation where you're just putting out fires, all the time.
Sure.
And so you never actually make any progress.
Right, and I think, we can all be victims of that across the board, not just cities, but businesses,
absolutely,
families, everybody. And so this is just an opportunity, since I'm so fresh here, for me to really get some ideas out in front of the council in terms of the things that I've been able to pick up on already, but also for me to really hear directly from each member of the council on what makes them so passionate about their community, why did they run for public office, and what are those things they're really hoping to do and accomplish for the citizens of Athens. Excellent.
Now, you said you just mentioned that some of the things that you might have seen already. You've been here a whole month, so we expect you to be able to quickly identify all the problems in the city. No, seriously, what have you seen since you got here? There might be something that you would think we need to really work on or prioritize.
Well, I think there's a number of things that have been brought to my attention, some that I have been able to just kind of pick up on. And of course, I don't pretend to, have all the answers of where we're going to be heading, but several things come to mind. One is obviously the finances of the city. I think I want to get a better handle on, what the priorities of the council are, and to make sure our resources match up to that. Because I think over time, city budgets have a way of sort of evolving, and things get spent that may or may not accomplish a long-term vision. And so I want to rein that back in and make sure that we know what we're doing with our finances and be good stewards of those. The other things would be public health and safety issues. I think that our fire and police, there's a number of things that we're going to need to discuss there. There's some concerns, I think, about making sure we've got early warning systems for storms and make sure we have enough personnel out on the streets. Another thing would be the Kane Center and really some quality of life concerns that we've got with our parks department, for example. We don't currently have a true parks department within the city, and yet we've got parks that we're maintaining. We've got some programs that we'd like to be able to provide the citizens. So all those things are going to be up for discussion tomorrow, and hopefully, we'll be able to get a good sense of what the council's desires are, and get that out before the public as well.
Awesome. Well, Mr. Rodriguez, thank you for spending some time with us. We really appreciate that.
I appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, and hopefully we'll do this again. It's fun, isn't it? You just sit down and you talk. It makes it easy.
Excellent, yes.
So thank you all for listening. This is Mike from Henderson County Now, and we'll be back again next time.
Appreciate it, Mike. Thank you.